swear, it's been years since I've seen anyone any sign of life. I've been surviving off of rodents and for drinking water rain. The last sign of civilization I see was on the news before the blast. Before they came out of the sky. I'm not talking green Martians. I'm not talking little aliens either. I'm talking niggers. Girl teeth, big nose, big lip niggers. A strange flying object landed in my yard last night. I can hear in the distance music thumping all through the night. Talking me. I can smell them cooking. Cooking fried chicken.
Let the thing sink Titanic.
I can hear them saying,
one more time, more damage. Open
Open
up the book, read the canon. Find us right there, transatlantic. The rules waking up, they can't stand it. Y'all about to shake the whole planet. Y'all about to shake the whole planet. Who we Hebrew planet?
Who is it?
Tusians, nigga.
Standing is Hebrew planet. Y'all about to shake the whole planet. The last one standing is Hebrew planet. The rules waking up, they can't stand it. Soaking up the planets, Hebrew planet. Yeah, take over the breakover. This world got no swag, need a makeover. One way trip to hell, no layovers. They all drink from the cup, got a hangover. Yeah, yes, they lied, the truth won't hide. Our people lack knowledge, so they broke inside. Some really, the ops, they the other side. I pray the spirit got you and open up your eyes. We the witness.
I didn't see it. What happened? There was a group outside?
There was a group outside, 100, possibly more. They were wearing a shirt called Israel United in Christ. They're a group waiting for the
I think that's a conversation for not today. Just here to focus on the game.
You've said this whole time that you didn't know what kind of what voice you had, and if these are the people that are out here in your name, do you feel like you have that's a consequence of what you've done?
Again, I'm just here to focus on the game.
Shalom, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today for this special broadcast. Thanksgiving or thanks for killing? That's the question we definitely want to ask today. So first off, I want to start with just some basic history. You know, we all know Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock. They enjoyed a Thanksgiving with the Indians that were on the land, and it was a beautiful celebration. Or was it? America has a pretty picture of the Pilgrims' first Thanksgiving, and it has become the perfect tradition for the perfect white family. But it's everything but pretty, and we want to understand why our people just don't care about the genocide that took place on Thanksgiving. Since 1863, Abe Lincoln declared Thanksgiving a national holiday in America. Allegedly, he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which was supposed to free the slaves. But how could he enact a holiday that celebrated the destruction of a people? So today we're going to bring Elder Shemaiah up so we can get into this topic. You know, why don't Black people give a you-know-what about this genocide that took place on Thanksgiving?
Shalom, family, and much love to you. I'd like to say, on behalf of the United Nations of Israel, we love you. We're here to speak candidly and unapologetically about what's going on today. So the question was, why don't our people care about what happened during the genocide? Well, it's called social conditioning. It's called domestication. We, just like if you domesticate a cat and you declaw a cat, that's what happened to us. So we have been declawed in understanding. We have been grafted in and morphed into the ideologies of our captives. So instead of dealing with the history, we want to eat turkey, we want to eat ham, we want to eat chitlins and hog maws and dressing and macaroni and cheese and candy yams and all that kind of stuff, and totally negate what happened in reference to the indigenous people of this land. You know, we have been desensitized, not only of ourselves, but as a people in general. So All we care about is partying, and I understand, it's a time where our people come together and relate to as family, but we can relate to as family at any time. And even if you relate to as family on this day, understand that what happened to the Native Americans when the Pilgrims came over here, understand that it's not the picture that's painted in the elementary schools, in the high schools, and even in the universities. They're not telling you what truly happened. So we have to take it upon ourselves to really dig in and seek after knowledge as you would seek after gold. Start looking at what truly happened, just like you look at chasing that almighty dollar. So to answer your question, we just been desensitized, we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray, as Malcolm X would have said back in his heyday.
For sure. I guess the question that a lot of us who are conscious to what this day really stands for, whenever we share this information with others and have candid conversations about the origins, it just doesn't seem to matter. I wonder if we were to have a national holiday signed into declaration by President Biden of, we're going to celebrate the transatlantic slave trade. Y'all have done so much for our nation, our communities. Thank you for building this nation up. We want to honor your slavery and genocide by declaring a national holiday. Would our people even care about that?
Unfortunately, you know what our people would do? They would go get out the barbecue pits, go get the food, and get ready to cook, because the only thing our people care about is partying. We have to shake the dry bones of our people. We have to speak the truth. We have to tell the truth. We have to undress the lies that we have been told. And we have to deal with our behavior. Our behavior is atrocious when it comes to the self-love of our people. We have grown to love our captors more than we love ourselves, to the point where we turn a blind eye, we put our heads in the sand, and we act like these things don't exist. And unfortunately, what they're trying to do is whitewash history. They're trying to remove certain things in history today so that they don't even have to talk about it any longer. There is a movement today to even suggest that the slave trade didn't happen.
True.
So and our people will embrace it. I see it every day. They take upon all of the isms and schisms and paradigms that these people. Hey, the slave trade couldn't have possibly happened. It would, everybody would have gotten lost in coming across the seas. But we got other information that's contrary to that. We speak to our people on the continent of Africa. We've studied the history of things. We see that actuality actually happened. It's not a made up farce. It's true. But unbeknownst to us, we would rather believe a lie and conjecture than believe the truth. We've even took the stand as to believe that this land in America is our land. I would agree that some of our people were here prior to the Pilgrims getting here, but that does not mean, when it comes to the nation of Israel, that this was our land. Know for surety that this land is slated for utter destruction. It's filled with the blood of our ancestors. And it's time to come to terms with that. And Yah is not going to stand for that. So Israel, you need to get yourself in gear. You need to understand what the Almighty has declared and know your history, know your heritage, put down the lie and walk away from it.
For sure. So even speaking to our Native American brothers and sisters, I didn't realize this until just looking at the calendar, the Gregorian calendar, that tomorrow is Native American Heritage Day. And to me, that just seems like the biggest slap in the face ever. Like, the day before we celebrate your heritage, we're going to celebrate your destruction. How do you feel about them having a Native American Heritage Day the day after celebrating their genocide?
You know what? It goes hand in hand with the government and the powers that be have a place for us to protest. They tell you, we can lawfully demonstrate. What it does is put you in a box, put you in a position to where they feel comfortable with your expression. As soon as you go outside the box and they're not comfortable with your expression, then it's a problem. So that's why they painted the narrative of how we got Thanksgiving today. Tomorrow we got, the history about our native brothers and sisters coming forward. So what they're doing is it's a mentality. It's a mental game that they're playing upon our people in totality. And we bought it hook, line, and sinker. It's just like they give you Black History Month. And so they give you a month to express yourself. So you should be
Right.
okay. You should be okay with that. And that should justify all the injustices that took place. Somehow, our people have embraced that and took that on and have neglected our pretenses, neglected who we are as a people, neglected what happened to us. As we see in this picture, we see our people feasting on Thanksgiving turkey and really smiling and enjoying themselves. And I'm pretty sure they were saying all kind of prayers of thanks. It's nothing wrong with
Right.
being thankful for a meal that the Almighty
Right.
has gave. It's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
what really transpired on Thanksgiving?
And that's what I want to talk about too, because in this picture, they seem just so joyful to be together. The dad is, about to cut into the turkey, the kids, everyone seems so joyful. But, you know, what actually happened on this day? What are we giving thanks for exactly? Because I'm all about origins. I'm an origin person. Let's get to the root of what happened. Let's get to the root of why we do things. I want to know what actually happened on the first Thanksgiving here.
Yes. And so, it's very one thing I would say is this: today we have access to a lot of information by virtue of a click of a button on the internet and reading a lot of books. One thing is for sure: on the first Thanksgiving, there's different bits and pieces of information everywhere. But one thing is for sure: the Native Americans, being the people that they are, embraced helping people. But when
Right.
they embrace helping the pilgrims, what did they get in return? They got the slaughter, they got the diseases, and they got the
Mm,
annihilation of their people. There are confirmed events that in history that have indicated that they actually beheaded Indians and put them on pedestals, the Native American during that time. And I even hate to use the word Indian because, again,
right.
that's another social construct. Because at the end of the day, just like Indians come from India, just like Russians come from Russia, the natives of this land are who they say that they were. They had several nations that were here prior to the European touching base on this land. So, we have to continue to express our sentiment, our understanding what they went through as a people, because again, some of those people here and during that time was our people.
Right. Right. And I think we discussed this a little bit too during our July 4th broadcast of how we get caught up in celebrating things that had nothing to do with us. And even in this case, we're celebrating something that is discussing the destruction of us. And so I don't know if we claim that, our lives matter and we want everyone else to believe that. How can we truly say that if we celebrate things that, celebrate the opposite?
Absolutely. And that really brings in the words that our brother Ye, formerly Kanye, said. He said, "White lives matter." And a lot of our people took that as negative. But what he was really saying was the truth. What are they showing us? What have they shown us throughout history? They shown us that white lives has only mattered in this form of society. So he was only stating the obvious. when we go back and we look at the development of modern medicine, whether it pertains to pediatrics, whether it pertains to gynecology, all of the development of those things were off the backs of our people. So who lives matter? When we look at the plantation, did it benefit us or did it benefit those in power? When we look at the corporate structure in the system, who does it benefit? Does it benefit us or does it benefit the corporate structure? When we
And
look
even
at
speaking on corporate structure, I just have to interject at this point. I work a corporate position, and all week everyone's been saying, "Oh, happy Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving," and I felt in a weird place about that. Obviously, I'm not saying it back. I don't celebrate it. And even when I shared that, I was asked, what am I going to do for it? And I was saying, I don't really celebrate. And that was like, such a shock to them. But everybody knows what happened on Thanksgiving. And me, I did take offense to being told happy Thanksgiving, because really what you're telling me is happy genocide day, happy killing day, happy we took over a whole nation of people who were here day. And, you should be celebrating it too. Why aren't you? And I cannot express my dissension for that because of the place that we're in this country. And I had a problem with that. I really did.
right, and that position that you take is very pure and it's clean. And we should be unapologetically like that in every stance that we take in relation to our people, in relation to the atrocities that have been committed against not only our people, which also includes the Native Americans, when, again, some of those people were our people as well, which we got to do another show about the division of the different nations over here during those times. But again, we have to start to really tell our truth. We have to stop letting others be the authority on who we are as a people. We have to stop putting them in position to be the resource that we go to validate who we are. Why do we do
For
that?
sure.
That's because we've been brought up in a system, we've been educated in a system that promotes that kind of train of thought. One person said, and ironically, it was a white person, but he said a truth. We don't have a actual individual thought outside of what the system pushes through its agenda since we've been born. The only way you have a free thought is the Almighty has to unplug you. That's why we're here today. We need to unplug Israel. We need to come forward. We need not to embrace the things that we have been told, and we need to allow the Almighty guide us as a pillar of fire by night and a cloud of smoke by day. And we need to unapologetically state to the world who we are, because at the end of the day, the administration of the Almighty flows through Israel for the rest of the world when the Almighty puts us back in our homeland. So we need to come to terms with that. We need to know what our position is now, and we need to embrace it, and we need to move forward. So don't stop letting others be the authority over who you are. We've seen a lot of interviews where they interview Rabbi Rosenberg, and I don't even like to use that term rabbi because that's not even a Hebrew word, that's Yiddish, and I say that again for our people that even identify themselves as being rabbis. That's Yiddish. In Hebrew, that's Yiddish. Stop using these constructs to validate who you are. But I digress. Sorry about that.
For sure. No, I understand. This is a very touchy subject, and it goes deeper than just celebrating, the genocide of a people. In doing my research on Thanksgiving, I learned that this holiday comes from, pagan and idolatry origins. And even learning that, I learned about how the Druids had a harvest called Ingathering, where they were outcast from the Christian church for being, satanic practitioners, And they were doing idolatrous things, hoping to have healthy and good harvests for the year. And when you were speaking of the beheading of Indians, the Aztec culture actually honored their god Xilanin by beheading a young girl every year. That was a ritual that they did. There were also other rituals, such as Thesmorphia, which honored, Demeter and Persephone in Greek culture. It was Cerealia, which honored Ceres, the Roman god of corn. So all of these things, even before we get into like the genocide and like wiping out a whole people, this all started with paganism and idolatry. And like Exodus 20:3 says, thou shalt have no other gods before the Most High. And if even for, Christian listeners or other people who subscribe to religion or practitioners of religious faiths, understand that having gods before the Almighty God is idolatry. So if you are, a religious person or a Christian or whomever, is celebrating this holiday, which has origins in idolatry, a problem? Or is it just another thing of, we don't do it for that reason, although the origins say something else?
Yeah, I hear all the time, well, we know what it used to be, we know what it was, but we're in a different time frame today. Does that really matter today? And when we have that train of thought, really, who is that conducive to? Is that conducive to you? Or is that conducive to the one that controls the isms and schisms and the systems and employ you to have the lifestyle that you have? That's conducive to your masters today. And make no mistake, the plantation is still there. You may not be picking cotton, but you working on a corporate plantation today. And this is what was demonstrated when Kyrie said, wake up, Black America, go watch Hebrews and Negroes. They showed him, and they showed our people that we still on that corporate plantation. And as soon as you get out of line, we're going to take the buck that get out of line, and we're going to display him in public, and we're going to use your people to castrate him. And that's what we did. And we have to stop those people like Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, and all those other ones that come against, somebody coming and stating their truth of our people, and they whip them in public. We need to catch that whip in our hands, and we need to go ahead and return those same lashes upon their back. We got to stop until they come to consciousness of the Almighty and who they are. Return the whip upon them. We got to stop that, And even with our brothers and sisters that say, hey, well, Kyrie, he apologized and now he's a simp. Where were you at when he was speaking on behalf of our people? But you're going to call him a simp now. You're going to be mad at him because he apologized. He needs to sustain his life while you sitting in your living room being a living room Israelite. I'm done with that. I'm done with people like that.
Yeah, for sure. So I just have one last question. So everyone can get back to their festivities. Looking at the history of all of this, it being a genocide, it being pagan, and honestly, the day having nothing to do with our people whatsoever, would you say that Thanksgiving celebrations are a display of anti-Semitism?
Absolutely. Everything that we see today is a display of anti-Semitism. And why do I say that? Because now we're bombarded with, if I go out in the street today, if I go to the store, and I did go to the store earlier today, first thing somebody says is, Happy Thanksgiving. How do you know that I celebrate Thanksgiving? How do you have the audacity to even just suggest that everybody should do it? We're bombarded with that. We're supposed to be thankful to a government that not only took this land from indigenous people, but thankful to the same government that had us on the plantation and now call us 13th Amendment citizens. Now we are U.S. citizens. And now that makes all the difference in the world. When when we still suffer at the hand of social injustice, by the hands of the police, by the hands of the court system, by the corporations, by the educational system, and the financial system. It's time for Israel to rise. It's time for the line of Yahudah to come forward and speak. And we did a show earlier this week as we reached out to Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. And some of our people, they have a distaste for that, saying, why would Israel try to unite with the Nation of Islam? Listen, let's be educated. Every so-called African American that's here today came over here by way of the transatlantic slave trade. Undress all these isms and schisms and know that you're the same people as the Nation of Islam and even as our Black Christian community. We got to stop being divided because it's called divide and conquer. It's now time to unify. It's now time to come forward. It's now time to put aside our differences because at the end of the day, if we had it right, we wouldn't be in captivity. If we had it right, we would be in our land right now. So no, O Yahudah, O Yisrael, whether you call yourself Christian, Muslim, those that are of the indigenous people of this continent, know that Yah is calling you today, calling you forward to unite with your people and to unite under one banner and be the nation of Israel that he made you to be, carved out of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. So let's come forward, family. Let's declare our truth. We are Shemitic, not Semitic. We are not Jews. We are Yahudah or Yahudi or Yahudim. We have to stop using the terminology that has been given to us and embracing it. We have to stop making it a small issue. It is a very huge issue. So understand who you are. Again, that term rabbi, ask yourself, where did that come from? I'm just going to put that out there as a question. You go do the research, Israel, and you see what language that came from. And understand who you are. And understand the terminology that we embrace. And we got to stop embracing it. So these words are given to the whole house of Israel as words, as it is written. Shall these dry bones live again? What did the Almighty say? Prophesy unto the dry bones. So you hearing these words today, O house of Israel, awake and stand on your feet. Come together as a nation of people. Stop being despised and rejected and hidden in prison houses at the head of every corner. Wild bull in the net, full of the fury of Yah against yourself. Stop doing that. It's up. The 400 years is over. It's time for you to come together. So now it's contingent upon you, O house of Israel, to come together. We have a day next year coming up on September 16th, where we calling for all Israel to come under the heavens, to go to Washington, D.C., and tell Yah that we are sorry, that we accept his punishment. Because when we do what is written in Leviticus chapter 26, the Almighty has said, when you do that, he will remember his covenant with the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, and also he'll remember his covenant with the land. So let's do that. That's very critical. That's the last piece in this puzzle. So continue to follow the United Nations of Israel. We'll be giving more information about that great day coming so that we can humble ourselves before the Almighty. And know this for a surety. Your humility is your strength.
For sure. Well, I think this has been a powerful show. I pray that anyone that was able to watch this, or if you caught it in the middle or towards the end, please definitely watch the full thing in its entirety, packed with so much knowledge and information for the edification of our people. And before we end today, I just want to end with a note from our sponsor. Thank you so much, Elder Shemaiah, for being here with us. And we pray to see you all once again on the other side.
Hallelujah. All praise.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Attention. If you or your children have been the victims of the transatlantic slave holocaust, community disunity, and image destruction, you may be entitled to spiritual reparations. If you fit any of these characteristics, call on Yah right now to see if you qualify for reparations. The door for repentance may close in less than 30 days. Don't wait, or you and your children could forever lose your right to salvation. Call Yahuwah now. YAHUAH. YAHUAH. Call Yahuwah now.